In this video, we'll be finding the sixth root of -1. First, we need to use de Moivre's formula. So de Moivre's formula is the form of r raised to the 1 over n power times a quantity cosine theta plus 2 pi k over n plus I times sine of theta plus 2 pi k over n, where k is from 0 all the way up to n minus 1. And these are going to be all the roots to our question here. So what we have to do is figure out what is r, n, and theta, and then we can solve it. But first, we want to rewrite -1 in terms of a complex number, and in this case, it's going to be the form r times cosine theta plus I sine theta. And here we want -1, so what if we let this be -1, let this be 0? This has to be 0 because there is no I on the left here. So the question is, when is cosine equal to -1? When is sine equal to 0? Well, in both cases, that has to be when theta is pi. And so if you plug in theta equals pi, you get 1 here. So 1r is -1. Sorry, -1r equals -1. That means r has to be 1. Okay, so we get r is 1, theta is pi. And here we want to look at the nth root. That's what this means here, nth root, which is 6. So n is going to be 6. So this is r. And now we can use the formula, because all we have to do is plug in k equals 0 all the way up to 6 minus 1 to find all the roots. So let's plug in k equals 0 in. So we just substitute it in the formula here. And then r, what we said, is 1, n is 6, theta is pi. So plug it in here. You're multiplying 2 pi by 0, so that doesn't do anything. The angle becomes pi over 6. Simplify and get root 3 over 2 plus 1/2 I. So this will be our first root. Next, we'll be moving on to k equals 1. So plug in k equals 1 in the parentheses. Get 3 pi over 6, which is pi over 2. Simplify and get I. Next, we go to k equals 2. Plug in 2 in the parentheses, and that's where you get 5 pi over 6. Simplify, and we get the root to be negative root 3 over 2 plus 1/2 I. Moving on to k equals 3. Plug in k equals 3 in the parentheses, and get negative root 3 over 2 minus 1/2 I. Okay. K equals 4. Plug it in. Here the angle is 9 pi over 6, which is the same thing as 3 pi over 2. Simplify and get negative I. Finally, plug in k equals 5. Get an angle of 11 pi over 6, and then get root 3 over 2 minus 1/2 I. Okay. So remember, we have to go from 0 all the way up to n minus 1, which for us was 6 minus 1, or 5. So we're done here. And we say these are our answers. So there's 6 roots here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.